Hey guys, how you doing? Uncle Bob Connor here once again with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the escape from, well, you've got two different types: escape from New York and escape from LA. So I guess it's the escape from, I'm guessing, 'cause obviously, it's not a sequel where it's one and two, it's two, so I'm guessing it's the escape from, but you pretty much know what it is: escape from New York and escape from LA. Franchise, which obviously consists of two films, and as far as I know, they're not going to make any more. But situation with movies, they could very well make another one or sort of like a remake, I'm guessing. But as far as I know, there's two films currently in the collection, which obviously that franchise of, starring Kurt Russell in both films. Uh, you know, uh, so obviously the first one, obviously this became popular in the 80s. It was a time where a lot of the action films were coming, like this Mad Max, um, Terminator, and all this stuff that was like the 80s, that sort of became quite popular and then sort of like become cult classics since then. The 80s type ones, and this is was really popular at the time and and now become obviously a cult classic. So obviously this is a special edition of obviously done by John Carpenter. Escape from New York, which obviously stars Kurt Russell. Yeah, and I think it was hugely popular. I mean, it's still popular now, but obviously starring Kurt Russell. And yeah, it's pretty cool, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's really good all the way through. Really fun and really enjoyable, and the action is quite alright because considering it's 80, I think it's 81, something like that. So considering the action, it was pretty good. And yeah, it's quite good all the way through, and a lot of good action. And Kurt Russell's great as Snake Plissken, obviously the main role that he plays. And yeah, it's quite good. Like the storyline with the president, and the villains, and it's all right. Yeah, to be honest. I think the only thing I could say about it is, all right. Now you could say that the action's a bit weak, but I think at the time it was pretty good. And I think it could actually, I think it's probably too short because it seems to be when they're at the end, it's sort of a bit of a rush with like, I don't know, 20 minutes to go. It seems to be a bit of a rush, where a lot of characters get killed at the end. It seems like a bit of a rush. So I think maybe they should have done with 10 or 15 minutes longer, maybe, to pan it out a bit more. Sometimes I think with these films that are too short, they seem to, it's like, for example, when he actually gets to New York, it seems to be like just over an hour to get through the rest of the film. I think they take too long to probably get him over to New York, or at least they should have added another 10 or 15 minutes to make it sort of longer. It seems like the time he gets to New York, there's just over an hour, and it seems like getting a rush through that, and then there's sort of a rush to the end. So I think they should have panned. I think the only criticism is just I think they should have panned it out a bit more, whether it was just longer, and then uh, you know, where it was just a bit longer at the end. It didn't seem so much of a rush. That's the only criticism, but other than that, it's pretty good. Obviously the second one, Escape from LA. Oh yeah, I will mention that it's funny because it was made in 81, but it's set in 1997, sort of like 16 years after. And this one was made in 97, but set 16 years after in 2013. So I'm not sure if that's a coincidence or if they're meant to do that, but I don't know. But anyway, I decided to do that. And obviously Escape from LA, similar situation where he's going back, he's in prison again, and he's getting released to do a mission, came to LA. They slightly changed it slightly, similar type plot. And yeah, you could probably say that this is slightly weaker than the first, and maybe not as enjoyable. But to be honest, I quite like it. I think it's quite cool and slick. To be honest, I think it's all right. Um, and I think in a way it's all right. Some people might disagree, but it's a slight improvement in many ways because it's sort of. I think this is panned out, like I mentioned about panning out and a bit longer on one. Um, this seems to be a bit more panned out and a bit more better planned where stuff's happening. It don't seem a rush like the end. Although I think it could have done with